world building actual play podcast, building a world one game at a time. Today, we'll be continuing our world building series as part of Cosmic Century Nights, written by James D'Amato and Andrew Mergiewski. The coming episodes focus on building out the antagonists for our system. Let's get into abilities and weaknesses. We choose two weaknesses and one or two abilities. The weaknesses are plays fair, mapping, soul gems, pheromones, and organs.
I like pheromones and organs.
I mean, it's very flesh-coded of us.
Yeah. So organs, the dungeon has a biological construction like a living organism. Attacking its organs will disable its threats, open exits, expose paths, and perhaps even seal or destroy entrances. I think since this is fleshy, that does make sense.
In my mind, it's like breaking the start of the fractal. Like if the fractal is like an infinite repetition, if you can somehow survive long enough to get to like the non-Euclidean base of that fractal and like shatter it, then like you kind of really unbreak the reality around that.
Right.
There could be like a flaw somewhere in there. You have when you find the flaw and attack that, it shatters.
Or even if you can spot a flaw at the edge of the fractal, you can sort of follow that towards the thing.
You could also have to fight the figures in the painting.
I think that's just a given. I think you're gonna be fighting some figures.
So, for the second one, what are our thoughts on soul gems? Because it's like a resource potential, which is interesting. It fits in the ornate, indulgent style of Rococo and can sort of seamlessly like fit in with all of that stuff visually. And also, there's a line in this that says claiming one of these gems allows you to lay digested souls to true rest or even resurrect victims, which is very interesting.
If we go with that, there's at least one person out there who's found a way to use it as a power, found a way to use them as a power.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, like, I think that they are a resource. Like, first and foremost, it's like, yeah, people are going in and claiming the soul gems not for good purposes, but to be like, cool, I shall use this. It's giving Lich. It's giving Undying Empire.
I think it's also thematic to a couple of our main characters as well, laying people to rest like that. Does kind of follow one of the themes. I kind of like soul gems. Everyone likes soul gems.
Yeah. There's also a reason to go in there at some.
Yeah, that's true. This is a ridiculous idea, but say someone's dying, and you're like, well, hold on. If you throw you in the labyrinth and you die in the labyrinth, we can go get your soul gem later, and we can we can try to resurrect you via your soul gem.
That could be an interesting. I know you guys have like the whole weird like void blades, and that could be an interesting workaround for that specific thing.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if anybody's figured that out yet or not, but that's a thing where it's like, because Dead Steel basically like consumes you, right? Like you just like will die. So going into a space where reality is sort of a little bit broken and it will contain your soul in some kind of object could be a way to basically not die from it if you are powerful enough and knowledgeable enough to do that.
That also implies that there's a way to bring back the characters, at least some of the characters from the 10 Candles game.
Potentially.
True.
Not Ben's character, because Ben's character died outside, but...
I also died outside.
Yeah. Organs and soul gems, then, are the weaknesses. I think that's rad. Abilities, choose one or two. There's a bunch of these, and they are complicated, so take a couple of seconds here. Elemental, Overboss, Multiversal, Adaptive, Reactive, Diabolical, Hatchling, Domesticating, Symbiosis, and Healing. I have one in mind, but I kind of want to hear pitches.
Is it adaptive?
No, the idea I have in mind is symbiosis. The dungeon has allowed
yeah.
antagonists to take residence in its corridors and act without fearing digestion, not like Fell Knights or Undying Empire. One specific antagonist, the first of 10, can move freely inside of the Blight Labyrinth.
Let's go.
Fucking guy.
That's what I'm thinking.
The worst guy you know has Uber Pro or whatever the fuck you'd call it.
I think it's just like a private jet.
Domesticating, though.
Yeah, domesticating's
I
pretty
mean, it
good.
was 1 or 2, so like that could always be a thing that's there.
Oh yeah, we can do both.
So what is
We can,
domesticating?
Dungeon lures beings inside to incorporate them into its ecosystem. Slowly tries to compel monsters, beasts, and thinking beings into settling inside and doing its bidding. Every time a creature uses the dungeon for sustenance, they roll F plus refresh die against the labyrinth's depth die. If the dungeon wins 3 contests, the creature feels compelled to act in the labyrinth's entrance.
Ooh. Anything else jumping out at anyone?
I would like to pitch adaptive. So the TLDR of that one is, first of all, if we keep coming back, it'll get harder and harder as it kind of like learns. But the more important one that I'll actually read out is the labyrinth records the exploits of every creature who enters its corridors. One must move with a stealth impact of 5 to be unnoticed. Occasionally, the labyrinth may try to steal thoughts and memories from the mind of explorers. It can make an intellect attack versus wounded or non-wounded creatures. Any creature that perishes in the dungeon may have its story recorded in a language it knows as it is digested.
That's fucking awesome. That's very evocative.
I think I like that better.
Taking people into the paintings and like the whole
Incorporating
idea,
them.
it feels.
It's like, this guy won't talk. Let's put him in the labyrinth.
Well, I mean, that also, like, for the thing that Ben was saying, right, about if we do have the symbiosis and it's like the first of 10 or whatever, right? The fact that they can move without concern of being digested theoretically means that either the labyrinth knows everything about them and has it recorded somewhere, or does not have anything recorded about them, and they're the only person
Knowing them, it's that.
And on top of that, they also can go and look at the information that it's just collecting for them.
Oh god.
You hate to make your bad guy even worse. You hate to make him
Yeah.
stronger.
I made a great villain.
Yeah, first of 10 is really. The first of 10 has been a brainworm in my head since you came up with them.
Now I'm wondering if the Wraith would also be able to travel through.
Well, that's the thing is you've got and you've also got like there's the silhouette, and then we've also got the mysterious, evil, pseudo nefarious women that you've been planting. They may also be able to pass unnoticed through the labyrinth due to something.
We
in
love
their
the
nature.
mysterious women.
Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. I support women's rights and women's wrongs.
Yeah.
Refresh, the Wraith she's the one who, when the weird magic stuff happened in Tarsig, no one can remember her.
Right.
So like the second you look away, you do not remember the interaction. She cannot be remembered, but there's one person out there who knows her name.
That's right.
Random pilot knows her.
I think symbiosis and adaptive is.
Okay.
I like
Unless
Great.
anybody has a.
I think adaptive works really nice. I do like the idea of domesticating, and honestly, if we're just allowing one bad guy, is that really symbiosis? If it's just one evil dude?
I don't know how evil is it.
It depends on the evil dude.
Pretty evil.
So it's giving yes.
Yeah, my first time looking through them, I was thinking adaptive and domesticating. It adapts and it adopts.
Not you being like, what if it was secretly 3 things?
It's like two and a quarter things.
2 and like a little like spicy extra third thing. Don't look at that one.
Don't look at that one. Pay no attention to the antagonist.
Listen, you're running the game, Ben. You can do whatever you want.
True. I mean, I am all about, because I feel like domesticating also gives us more to tinker with when we're actually screwing around in the labyrinth to make it interesting. Zad, yes, what you got?
To speak to what's probably the intention of symbiosis, with the way that it says antagonist in brackets here, I think the intention for that one is that a faction one of the
Yeah.
other two factions has the capability of moving through it, which we're not doing.
No.
So
Yeah.
that's a fun first of 10 power. And
Mhm.
meanwhile, we can really lean into we'll call it the seductive allure of the Blight Labyrinth, where it
It
gets into your head.
And it adopts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It adapts and it adopts. I like that.
To be a quick naysayer on domesticating myself, real quick, happy to be overruled. It feels a little more intentional than the Blight Labyrinth is because it has no malice, right? That's like one of the big things I've been keeping in mind is like this thing isn't a thing. It's not like doing this for any like reason any more than like a storm. So it to me like luring beings inside to incorporate them feels a little more intentional, but
That's fair.
So
I-
I think this thing is nasty enough with just adapt.
Intention doesn't necessitate malice, though.
I understand where you're coming from. I think the language of
Mhm.
luring is more evocative than what is actually taking place. I think if it is in the nature of the labyrinth to try to give you what you want, but the thing that it gives you is either not quite or is dead fucking wrong, then it makes sense that like even if the thing that you want is I need food, I need water, and that is in your heart of hearts, because when you're
Mhm.
hungry, like it takes over your other needs, then it's going to give you food, but it is
Mhm.
also in its nature to take from you when you accept its gifts.
Cool.
Mhm.
I like it. Let's give it. Let's give it.
As far as the labyrinth's concerned, it's always making a fair trade, I guess. You know.
How very fey coded of it.
Yeah, it might not even know it's trading. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think that there is a way to frame this that is just like, it's not luring. There's no intention behind the luring. It's just like, I made these things for you. Do you like it? And it's like, yeah, I do. And it's like, don't you want to stay here? Isn't that kind of fun?
Now I've come back around because if it knows the exploits everyone entered, it knows the want, and so it's just like there is a hole here. There's a gap to be filled. Who up heaven? The gap's filled by a labyrinth. Am I right?
Oh no.
Yeah, I saw it click in with you as well. I was gotta
Mhm.
say.
I heard it. I wasn't even. I'm tabbed out right now, and I heard it.
Okay, so we're gonna do domesticating and adaptive. Let's lock those in. Let's get into some details. Exit. Entering the labyrinth is easy, but leaving is difficult. If an exit shuts behind them, PCs must locate an exit and overcome a challenge to escape. By default, the challenge is 20 to escape a locked exit. Exits usually have 2 keys, unless specified otherwise. Each key subtracts 8 from the thing. So what is the lock? The lock could be 2 things. Blood, a physical key, timing, strength, puzzle, boss.
I feel like it's got to be puzzle. It looks like Zad also immediately like it says some exits have odd locking mechanisms made mostly to consume time, and that's its jam.
I also think boss, because one of its weaknesses is that it has organs, and so
Mhm.
maybe you can try to find the organ, and maybe there's guardians involved.
I think if it's fleshy and organs, any monsters in there are like, white blood cells type shit.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Or it's like the darkest dungeon 2 final boss fight, where you're just fighting organs
Yeah.
and everything's bad. Have you guys seen that? You should look.
Yeah.
Then you should look at that for reference for
I
boss
should,
fights.
you're right. Challenge. Choose one. Progression, inverse progression, time, complexity. So progression is the circumstances around exits become more dangerous the deeper you delve. Inverse progression, the exits get simpler the deeper you delve, but the challenges grow greater. Exit challenges start at +8 but subtract by depth. Time. Locking methods of exits grow less complex over time, tempting you to stay longer. And complexity. Any exit can be opened, but you need to meet a 3rd lock condition to prevent being sent out of a random exit.
I feel like time
Feels
pretty
like
good.
the appropriate one, just because
Yeah.
I mean the whole entire thing is about attrition, right? It's just trying to
Yeah.
keep you in here longer. It's trying
Yeah.
to get you
Yeah.
to do all of this. As interesting as complexity is, I do think that time fits the best.
Yeah.
Thinking about this as a thing that evolved, not that it necessarily did, like that feels like what it would evolve as
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
the challenge.
Well, and also that adds a very interesting thing to have to deal with from like the player perspective of being like, all right, cool, you want to go in here, you want to do this thing. How much time are you willing to give to this?
Yeah.
Especially if you're on like a time crunch or like whatever, and is like, is it actually going to save you time by doing this? What cost do you want to pay?
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, we have answered one of the questions related to this, but we haven't answered the other one. So the question we have answered, if one can't find an exit, what is the easiest way to force one to appear? I think the answer is find the flaw in the fractal, follow it to the organ, kill the organ, and you'll find your exit. How are the standard exits, not the organ-related ones, but how are just like regular exit more or less labeled?
I'm thinking of like an empty frame.
Oh.
You have like a painting, like just like the like very like ornate frame around that, but there's not actually anything in it.
The
Yeah.
other option,
You're
I
looking
think-
for. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Damn it.
You're looking for dull places. You're looking for the places that do not draw interest or draw your eye. Is one pitch, or something
Or
that
draw
gives
your
off the
fear.
vibe.
I was gonna say just look for mundanity because the other side is the real world.
I like what Faye just said, where it draws on fear, because it doesn't want you to leave, so it makes the exit scary. It works on your what you're wanted you in, and then makes the exits based on your fear to keep you there.
That kind of could potentially play into Malice. I had the thought of like
That's also fair. That
look
could be
for
too
the
malicious.
painting of you and your companions that you entered it with. Like it makes a representation of you when you enter. So when you go back and you find that,
Does it unmake you when you go back out?
No, obviously not.
I mean, if you roll a high enough stealth check, it would seem.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, if you roll high enough stuff, it never made like it only has like the physical.
Oh my god. You know you did a good job staying hidden if when you find the frame it actually is empty or has less detail. The more detail you see, the more action, then that means the more it has recorded of your exploits.
Yeah, the closer it was to making a changeling and popping. Yeah.
Now you being like, I want to see the most garbage portrait of all time of myself.
You just see stick
If it's a-
figures like,
Yeah,
yes,
if
we
it's a
did
stick
it.
Like,
figure,
hell yeah.
fucking solid. Yeah.
Yeah, if you find it and it looks like dog shit, you did a great job. If
Uh-huh.
it looks really good, you know what? Might as well just turn into a soul gem.
Might as well. It already knows.
Because if you stay too long, the picture becomes real, and that's the doppelganger.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, great. Sorry,
Yeah.
I got really excited by that. I really like the doppelganger part. I don't know. It just really hits me.
it's the picture of Dorian Gray, except for it becomes you.
I also like the idea of like if you follow, and it doesn't always have to be mundanity, or it always doesn't always. I think fear is fine to invoke. Kind of like we were talking about. It might work for one branch of the labyrinth for it to be fear based. It might work for another branch for it to be mundanity based. But like the goal, the idea is you have to go towards the thing that you don't want in order to find your way to the exit.
What if the thing you don't want is to face the truth about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, like it could be something very philosophical or like personal. It could be something very mundane of being like, I'm not big on snakes. There are snakes that way. I don't want to go there. That's not for me. It's like you have to walk through the snake. You gotta do it. And like that makes sense. That it's drawing on your desires and whatnot.
When the thing doesn't know you well, it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where it's like, here's some food, man. And then as it gets to know you, you know, if you've never been in before, it just here's some food and water, buddy.
And as you accept its gifts, you reveal more about yourself, and you give more of yourself away to it, and then eventually it knows you really well, and then the algorithm feeds you some really weird fucking advertisements.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
understand
exactly.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to element and theme. Entering an instance of the Blight Labyrinth typically drops victims on a level with a specific elemental affinity and theme. As groups move from one level to another, the GM can roll to keep things fresh. So that's cool. Oh, I think this is supposed to be random.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
But I think
that
it's
is
every
just,
time we, yeah.
there's nothing we need to do after that.
So that's level by level. So let's go on to miasma.
Miasma.
The theme we can also choose level by level by level.
Mhm,
Mm.
mhm.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
that's just more like a prompt engine to help me out when I'm doing weird shit.
Great. That makes sense.
Uh,
Okay, cool.
One of them is bugs.
Bugs. Bugs. Bugs.
Miasma, a terrible fog that forms throughout the labyrinth. It deals damage based on depth and thickness. In shallow areas, it deals 1/2 a depth die rounded down, and in thick areas, it deals a whole depth die. Generally speaking, it makes things harder to see and provides space for danger to hide. Power, choose 2. Poison, impairment, fatigue, sinful, mutating, and corrosive.
Sinful.
Sinful.
Sinful. Yeah.
Sinful.
Oh,
Sinful.
yeah. Sinful.
Each exposure
Sin-
causes characters to have to resist their worst instincts. Starting with a threshold of 3 characters resist temptation, a failed roll forces them to act. Add +1 to the threshold for each exposure.
Yeah, that tracks. I also like impairment. I think Bree, you said impairment. I think that makes is very evocative of what this does. The miasma provides a 1d downgrade to control or impact thanks to hallucination, weakening, or impairing coordination if it hits a 4 on exposure. So once you hit a certain level of toxicity, you are just not as good at doing your job, bud. And therefore probably more susceptible to not being able to resist your worst instincts.
I love a fucking death spiral. That's kind of fun.
In the meantime, it's incentivizing you to stay in there longer and longer and longer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Mhm.
by promising you an easier way out if you just hold out for just a few more hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucked. Properties, choose 2. Soluble, skin contact, airborne, beast breath, temperature sensitive, and swan song. This is basically how to protect yourself against it.
You like airborne,
Yeah.
first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Airborne is the miasma can take effect if directly inhaled.
Wear your masks. And then
Mask.
How do we feel about
one-
temperature sensitive?
the miasma decomposes at high or low temperatures. I think that
Well, and kind of think about it in the way of like if the whole entire thing is like flesh is body is whatever, what is like a fever or like
Yeah.
getting like a chill, right? Like that is very specifically the way that you fight off effects, essentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's something that people could potentially prepare for, but the question is this cloud of miasma going to go away at cold, or does it need heat?
Since this is paint based, I am going to say cold because it literally, I think the miasma is literally like paint fumes, basically.
Mm.
And the cold, they coalesce back into the painting itself, and they're held in there. I think it would be cold would do it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Time to invent fantasy air conditioning.
Yeah.
Something, the walls are peeling. That's something.
Yeah.
That's got to be something.
What color is the miasma?
My brain just went 7.
Very good. So close. That is a number.
I think that's
Uh-huh,
I
yeah.
think that's what that means.
A murky gray that kind of looks like paint water.
I could work with that. What if it is the color of the paint that it's being expunged from?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just all different colors. Like I think it's just like it's Rococo, so it's like colorful all over the place, like across spectrums.
But like muted, right? Like maybe because the colors themselves are very bright, but when they become airborne, they fade from like a pastel to like the saturation gets turned down on them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting because you saying that, I don't know why, but it reminded me of like a paint fun run where everyone like throws like the big splatters of color
Mhm.
at people. I don't know why, but that's what I imagine, which is not at all what you were describing.
Actually, so a while ago I wrote a story, fantasy story that involved miasma, and the way I described it looking like is it almost looks like oil spilt on the ground. So that kind of, it's like the black and the dark, but also has like those tendrils of color through it. So it could be, it looks like paint water with swirls of color.
But in the air.
Mhm.
Oil in the air is a bad time, and I don't like that. But like in a good way.
And it's like paint, so it's like oil-based paint. Like
Yeah.
it's okay, that's sick. I love so it's kind of darkish and it's got rainbow tendrils.
Also, like that, it looks pretty. It looks interesting, especially if you don't know. People walk into that.
Okay. What about it smells oddly alluring?
You know how like gasoline smells good?
Specifically
Question
diesel.
mark?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never had that specific thing. I know people who are like that, but I've never had that.
You smell it, and it's you kind of get this with natural gas as well, but you're just like that. Your body just has this reaction to it of like, that's not a smell that exists in nature. This is something that is not body, not us. Almost an ancestral impulse towards.
Triggers like lizard brain.
Yeah, and it's like that. I think for people it smells, because me it smells distinct in this very particular way, and you just kind of like, your initial reaction is the repulsion, but then you're like, I gotta figure out what this is, and you want to smell it again. I'm not going around huffing it or anything. You get used to it after a while, but I think that's what it is. It is like the smell, the alluring part of the smell is that it evokes that sense of curiosity, of inhumanity, of like, this is not biological. This is something that is beyond my understanding, and I want to know more to know that it's real. Is my brain misfiring?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I like that, but also think the more it's starting to kind of wear you down, the more it starts to smell like home and nostalgia. It starts to smell like your favorite thing, the memories that you've given to this place, the smells associated with that, because that draws you in.
If I could like throw a layer on top of that, maybe, because smell is heavily associated with memory. What it can produce is, you know what it smells like when your mom's making waffles, and the smell that it ends up producing is the maple syrup waffle Yankee Candle. It's pleasant. You can see how they're related, but I don't know that until you are like way deep in. I feel like what the Blight Labyrinth is going to produce, there's always a smell of artificiality to it. There's always something that's a little bit off. And again, like, that's not bad. It's not a skunk. It's not something that you're going to run away from. It's a smell that you can stand. But if you are relying on your sense of smell as opposed to your sense of sight or touch or the other things that it has more direct control over, that can be the thing that you can use to guide yourself towards what's real.
Can I make this really fucked up and sad?
Yes, please.
Always.
Always,
Oh,
King.
yeah.
Fabulous.
Come on.
Once it has captured a scent that is important to you, after you've given it enough and delved deep enough, once you head back into the real world, if you smell that again, you will instead smell the miasma. And the only way to get that familiar smell back is you got to go back into the labyrinth. That's the only place it will be. So mom making waffles, if you go home and she makes waffles, you smell the miasma. And you know that the actual smell is in the labyrinth.
Fuck me, hell yeah.
Woof.
That's messed up. I like it.
You hate to systematically have all of your favorite things stripped from you until there's nothing left.
Yeah.
No, they're not stripped from you. They're right there in the labyrinth. They're just right there.
No one thinks that, Rob. Help.
Me when living in America.
The
Wouldn't
labyrinth
be me.
is full of treasure and other valuables it stole from adventurers or civilizations it has digested. Treasures always roll twice as many results and take the higher result. So this is rolled treasure to treasure to treasure and relic to relic to relic. So we actually don't need to do this one, which means...
We're gonna leave it on the note of it stealing your smells.
Yeah, we are going to end on the note that it will steal your memories and replace them with miasma. Good night. I hate you, listener.
Help. All right, well, I'm gonna go have some really cool dreams tonight. So
Anyway, this has been a pleasure. That concludes our antagonist building portion for Cosmic Century Nights. This has been a really cool and unique experience. I love it as kind of a lifelong GM who has always wanted to pass more and more of the control over the way the games are played over to my players for years and years and years. This is like perfect. It's why I was excited to run this. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being with us. We're going to get into actually like doing some play sessions coming up here. We're going to start the campaigns pretty soon. And then to kind of wrap it all up, I am going to steal your favorite scent and I am going to store it in the labyrinth. I am going to do that to you.
Be nice to our listeners. We need them to come. Actually, no. Store it in the podcast. You guys store it in the podcast so they can only smell it.
If you
when they
listen to Cosmic Century Nights on Game Woven, you will smell your favorite smell and nowhere else.
Piss is stored in the podcast is all I can think right now.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you for listening to the Game Woven podcast. Today's episode featured the entire cast, including me, P.T. Benjamin, Lex Olden as Palmy Day, Emily, Faye, Rob, Zad, and Bree. For more of Game Woven, you can find us on Blue Sky at Game Woven. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, you can find us at patreon.com/GameWoven. Thank you.